So I wanted to do a quick video to really explain that I really trying to explain to something about like what that does, like the plasma. So the plasma will show up like something almost legit, and usually the shinier it is, actually the more it's hard to say accurate because it's not exactly accurate. So you have like white blood cells that fight infections, and then you have the red blood cells, and then you have plasma. And plasma is more like when somebody really does something, for example, that they just don't care really about, like they just don't have any sort of they either think they're so godlike or not, that they also just don't care about it. And it comes off shiny. Or it's more like they really have no feeling in this action, and it comes off really, really shiny. Because it's a difference. That's why I said we might be screwed, because if they keep hitting the other side of that, that's the fourth one. And like you could be looking at the sky one day and it's gone or something. Well, and when I do believe in being able to fight back, I don't say I'm like a little child when I enter into kingdom heaven, because I say, I'm not going to be until Satan himself repents, because some of that stuff is just horrible. So why would I say it? It's not even like worth my effort. If you think about the line in the sand, if you consider what was changing. So like I said, that big part where he actually did not have any sort of quarrel with his other wife, he let her go. David let that wife go because he actually did something wrong and repented of it. She actually became the untouched line, so that leaves, and once it's gone, it comes back around. So then, like when the priesthood that was blinded were casting stones at the person, he draws a line in the sand. He does tell the other woman not to sin anymore, but he makes sure to ask them, he without sin, to cast the first stone. And I'll go all the way back to that type of banquet type shit. It will. So I'd be like, well, we all should just throw grapes at them, because obviously we know what one was up to or something, just throw grapes at them. And that would be like the child me. But there is a God that is really, really, really strong, and he can make the strength of what almost appears to us like we're calling people gods for trying to do the right thing, and then they switch it over when they're wrong to the plasma side. And I don't like that too much. I'll give you another example. So the Art Bell guy, he passed on. He moved on. He passed on. And then one time I was listening to an Art Bell thing, and this was before I saw, this new Van Helsing. It's just recent. It's not like that old. It's like 2018, whereas the other one was like 2016, 2017 maybe. There was an episode on where the alien, he called it, this guy who sounds like he's got, oh, I should go grab it too. So, like with that whole thing, by the way, Jesus has already arrived in the flesh, right? He's already arrived in the flesh. Jesus had the miraculous conception and birth, and then you and I are not God's, neither is our children. Actually saves people, but the people that mess with it will act like they like the first two. So they'll tack up on red hand or something like that. They'll actually be doing that. Number two, they will pick a fight about something, about the not God thing or whatever, but let God deal with that in some people, because really honestly they're just, some of them are getting go to that point that they would say Jesus is not risen, and they would sell purple. Yes. Alright? And it makes it look like it is, but it's not. So here's like a little vet flower, because when I'm hearing this story I'm thinking it's probably a vet. But what they want to do is make all people like vets have extreme amounts of like cancer to overcome this. I don't want this. We know our rebukes. Our family was rebuked for natural pull a long time ago, and it stuck. Okay, that also makes us a little ahead on the game on some of those natural, marriages or wedding feasts of the lamb or whatever you want to call it. But it also means that sometimes you hit rock bottom with some. Alright? But anyways, this is like kind of representative of this guy kind of like talking, and he thinks that he found an alien out in the middle of nowhere that made him sick. So when I get to the child of God thing, I don't want to say that, because like I don't want anything bad to happen to people. I want we're all going to hell. I want your HELL dolly, the whatever you want to call it, come with salt. Like as if you were taking the woman, Lot's wife, away from, trying not to make them look back. So you would do the same thing. If I'm being judged like that, I'm going to plow, basically, too. That doesn't matter. Like, I feel like I'm plowing right now, so you just do it. The guy thinks he found like an alien out somewhere and it made him feel sick, and he tried to take it home and everything, and he didn't know what to do with it, and he thinks in his mind he found a real alien and that the government came and picked it up. Now he said it was like small, like a child, and it looked at me like a child or something like that. And I'm trying to tell you something, and it's really, really weird. But this is why I said I'm not going to enter the kingdom of heaven as a child until Satan repents on stuff like that. Because, like, come on. Whoever gets hurt, like what I was describing, is not going to be fixed very well right away. And so, like, trying to... Basically, it'll come out as a spirit. You see what I'm saying? It's going to come out as a spirit. And something's going to show sympathy for it. You might be pulled down by that spirit if you were leaving the earth, like you want to see the good in humanity just as much as thousands, millions of other people need to. So I can picture that happening. The other thing is, I'm more of a wheat person, but there's a grain, and I do, corn. I love corn, and we are corn folks up here too. Corn goes down. I don't know if it goes past Mexico. I did see cornfields in Mexico, but there's probably corn almost, till you get to the, I found out how to say it, Kiwa. And that's the one that's cute, and it's really cheap over there too, but like that's where that is. But I remember specifically, and I'm thinking to myself, like, Art Bell died. Why am I listening to the exact same voice of Art Bell and a guy talking about that he found an alien in a freezer, and he put him in the freezer because he just didn't know what to do, and that's actually what he did, and stuff like that, okay? You see what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like sad. So, but I remember when I was like reviewing it, I tried to show it on video. I was like, no, Art Bell's dead. You know, like it's not an Art Bell show. He already passed on. And so like I get like that. Like I want to show this. This is one of them things, you know. So I tried to videotape it, and I noticed that my actual face really actually changed. My chin, like I said, like from these things, actually protruded, like as if I had a really strong bottom jaw, which actually looked kind of cute. But most of my family have kind of the weak chin, like the girls especially, they have the weak chin looking thing, you know, and it looks really attractive even on females to have like a really strong chin and stuff like that. But it really did protrude forward, and I'm thinking to myself, like, I even look different talking about it, like, so there is something out there that really will start fighting against it, like literally, even upon itself, like it literally will happen. And I am not to judge it, but at first I was like, nah, Arbel, he passed on, and I know that, and he really did, okay, and it's still true today. He passed on. So, but the spirit of something tormented, uh, with care or without any care, without any whatever, and it was showing up in the plasma, like it was a part of the blood that even maybe even the person doing it really thought that wasn't real. Who the fuck knows? Like really, that's how strong it can come off, and it comes off really, really bright. And the drugs don't help. Why don't the drugs help? Because sometimes drugs, what do you call it? They make people think that too, sort of. You know what I mean? Like, I know I got attacked for wanting to pick the freaking Pinocchio's Revenge movie, and it was probably a horror movie, but I really was like, I'm attracted to the title. So that will go back to like Solomon. Maybe some people are just more attracted to the title Solomon, and Jesus can get you there. Because remember what I said about the lady. How many of you probably would have just been like, well, throw some grapes. But what are you going to do about it when they're that judgmental, and you've been that judgmental too? You know what I mean? And it's also showing up in the spiritual realm for people they call vetted. And I will buy more of these. These ones are now coming out. I bought one red one once, and they were always just all red, but these ones are coming up with the green, the yellow, and the red on the inside. So, okay, I act with forgiveness, but crossing into some things while they're fighting against certain things like that, and adding to where maybe I have to come back like a hairy Chewbacca in the next life and get blessed by an institution because that's what your mama is. Yeah, I'll do it for sure. And that stuff is pretty wrong. So, I'm trying to think of anything positive though that I can tell you to hope for. Remember what I said about the how he let her go, and for those that are really like scared of judgment, what would you do to make Lot's wife not look back, but besides hurt her?